everyone, I am Bianca. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time visiting, thank you so much for stopping by and welcome. I hope you enjoy these videos enough to subscribe. So today I'm going to be showing y'all some pretty cool DIYs using these Dollar Tree sink mats. Now this is how they look, and there are just so many ways you can use these, and I'm going to show y'all that today. I have quite a few to show y'all, and this is not only for farmhouse decor, it could be for any style that you have in your home. So I think you're really going to like these, and let's get into these sink mat hacks. For this first DIY, I have two sink mats together right here, and what I'm going to be doing is just gluing them together to make a basket to hold some flowers. So I'm just starting off by adding some glue, and then I'm going to place the other one on top, but folding it so that way it just doesn't lay completely flat on top of it. So you'll see me just fold that outside part of it and then put both of them together. So I'll continue all the way down with a line of hot glue, and then I will also be placing some clamps just to hold the two sink mats in place. They do have clamps at the Dollar Tree. I've seen them in the craft section, but these particular ones, I got them from Home Depot for $1 each. I'm gonna do the exact same thing to the other side and just clamp them. So I'm using the clamps for a temporary hold with the hot glue because I am gonna use twine as well, and I'll show y'all that in a bit. So I removed the clamps from one side. Now I'm going to hot glue the bottom part. So now I'm just going to remove the clamps, and this is how the hanging basket is going to look. So I got the inspiration for this from actually quite a few. I think I have about 3 baskets from Hobby Lobby that look similar to this. I want it to look like a wooden basket, so what I want to do is stain it or use my antique wax, but before doing that I'm gonna paint it white first to give it a good base coat, and then once it dries I will use my antique wax. So you're probably thinking, okay, wouldn't this be easier to spray paint it white? And yes, it would, but a while back I did do a DIY with this and I spray painted it and it never fully completely dried. So this is why I like using chalk paint, because chalk paint dries really fast. A quick tip to paint this with a bristled brush or any type of brush is to use small amounts of paint, because you don't want so much paint on the brush and then it seeps in through the little, the little square holes, and then you'll have a lot of paint inside that's going to take forever to dry. So just use small amounts of paint. Now that it's dry, I'm going to use the antique wax on top of it from Waverly. So you don't have to use that if you don't have it or you can't find it. I've had a few people tell me they cannot find it, or any type of Waverly brand. You can use brown paint as well. So as you can see, I go on lightly at first, and then I will add a little bit wax onto the paintbrush. But remember, don't put so much. For extra support, I'm going to use some Dollar Tree twine on the sides and the bottom where I hot glued them together just so it stays in place. All I did was create a knot in the back or on the inside where you cannot see it, and then I just keep wrapping the twine all the way until I get to the bottom. Once I got to the bottom, I just tied a knot in the back and then I cut off the excess. So I keep cutting off about maybe a foot or two of twine and wrapping it, and then I'll run out and cut another foot or two and just keep going. You know, if you run out, then just cut another piece off and then keep wrapping. So lastly, what I want to do is add maybe some twine or something to the back to hang it up on some hooks. What I'm going to do is take some of this floral wire from Dollar Tree and some wooden beads that I've showed you guys a lot of times. I have this huge bag of wooden beads that I've been using for a long time now. It is such a good deal on Amazon. I have it linked below in my Amazon store if you want to purchase something like this. It came with like 1,000 wooden pieces. So all I'm gonna do is take some of the floral wire, add beads to it, and glue it to the back. That way I can hang it up. All I did was just wrap the floral wire the same way I did the twine. And then I didn't show this part, but after this, I did turn it around and added a little craft stick on the back on top of the floral wire so it wouldn't move. So I have it hung up like I mentioned, and I just have some Hobby Lobby stems inside. For this next DIY, I am using 2 of the sink mats and painting them black this time. I'm using Apple Barrel matte black paint. I really like the Apple Barrel matte paint because it reminds me of chalk paint. And I'm going for a different look with the 2-tier tray that I'm making. So I have this Dollar Tree garden dish. Well, I have 2 of them, but I already removed the stickers from this one. And this is going to be the bottom tier. I have this bowl that fits perfectly inside. So that's what I'm going to use as a template to cut out a circle from the sink mat. And I'm going to glue that on top of the garden dish. So I was thinking about gluing it underneath at the bottom, but you would be able to see the glue if I did that. For the top tier, I found this little 8-pack of plastic plates from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to take one of them and do the same thing and trace out a circle from the sink mat and glue it on there. To connect the 2 tiers, I found these really pretty black ceramic candle holders at Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to glue it on top of the big tier and then add glue to the top of the candle holder and add the smaller tier to the top of that. The little sign on top is from Dollar General, and the 2 little tea light candle holders are from Dollar Tree. The third DIY is very simple. I'm going to use this Dollar Tree vase, and I'm using a leftover sink mat that we just used, and I'm going to wrap it around the base. So now I'm also going to use this Crafter's Square adhesive cork sheet for the top part of the vase. So I just cut out a piece of that, and I was trying to measure to see how much of the sink mat I needed to cut out. So I'm going to cut that out and glue that to the bottom portion of the vase, and the cork sheet, like I said, will go on the top portion. The cork sheet already has an adhesive part on the back to stick on here, but I still added a little bit of hot glue in the back where the cork sheet overlaps. And all I did was add greenery inside of there. So I really like it because it looks really modern to me. For this next one, I grabbed a Dollar Tree mirror, and I'm not going to need the mirror part, so I'm going to remove the center of that. The sink mat, I ended up painting it gray because I wanted a different look. So I don't have gray paint, so all I did was just mix some of my black paint with white paint. There were like 3 little tabs holding the mirror, and I just kind of popped them off with my scissors real easily. So there's also this little triangular piece in the back, what you use to like hang on a nail. Don't take that off. I ended up taking it off because I didn't think I needed it, but I did end up needing it to hang it up. I'm sorry that the camera is not in focus right now. I don't know what happened, but it was real simple. I just turned the mirror frame around and added hot glue and glued the sink mat on the back. So here's a little piece of twine I added to the back. Remember, you don't have to do that if you leave the piece that I took off. So all I'm gonna do is just hang it. You can put it, anywhere in your home. And I'm going to add this Walmart wreath that I found on clearance around springtime. It came in like a 2-pack, I believe, for a couple bucks. So it was very, very simple, and you can also make a bigger one if you want. You can get the embroidery hoops that they have at Walmart. They have all different kinds of sizes. On to DIY number 5, the 5th hack. I'm going to make a little sign with this Dollar Tree frame, and I'm going to paint it white. You can find a frame that is the color that you want already, but since I had this one on hand and without having to go to the Dollar Tree again, I decided to paint it white, and you already know what I'm going to do after that. I'm going to use my wax over that to give it a wooden look. And I'm not sure if you were able to tell, but it was gold. I'm using this thankful sign from Dollar Tree and painting it black. A lot of times during the fall seasons, these signs come in a 3-pack from Dollar Tree. So I'm taking one of them and painting it black. This would definitely be a little better if you spray painted it. Okay, I'm using another sink mat that I painted gray, and I'm just trying to figure out the sizing again of it. So you just want to cut it big enough to where it does glue behind the frame, but also small enough so you don't see it sticking out. And I'm removing the little hardware pieces on the back of the frame, and now I'm hot gluing that sink mat. And lastly, I'll flip the frame around and glue the thankful sign in the center. So for my last DIY, I'm making a little command center with these Home Depot paint sticks, and then I have 2 shims that I also got from there, but you can go ahead and use about 4 paint sticks. Before I glue it together, I'm going to use my wax on the paint sticks and the shims first. After the glaze dried, I turned all of them around to hot glue it together. I forgot to mention that I did cut down the shims with my miter box and saw. I'll link it below if y'all want to buy it. They're like 10 bucks for the saw and the miter box. I just cut it down big enough to fit at the bottom, and I'm going to glue another one on the top. The two vertical paint sticks are about 9 inches from each other. So this is how the frame looks once it's all glued together. I have another painted sink mat in black. I don't have to cut it down. It's going to fit perfectly on the back. So I'm going to hot glue that down to the bottom portion. The top portion, I'm going to add that adhesive cork sheet from Dollar Tree. I will have to cut it down just a little bit to fit at the top. For an even better hold, you can add popsicle sticks, the large ones, on top of this, just along the edges where the paint sticks are at. And what I didn't do was add anything to the back of the cork sheet, but it would be a good idea to add like a piece of cardboard too. That way you can stick thumbtacks in the cork sheet. So speaking of thumbtacks, I did forget to pick some up from the Dollar Tree, but they do have them there. What I did was just add a few notes, and the small little clothespins are from Dollar Tree too. Alright, so thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed these DIYs. If you did, make sure to give me a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. If you want to know every time I post, make sure you click the little notification bell right next to the subscribe button, and it will let you know when I post on YouTube. So you can watch right away, or you can watch later when it's more convenient for you. So thank you so much again, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Don't